Ladies and gentlemen, dreamers, fighters, believers, today is not just another day. Today is the beginning of unstoppable. Today is the day you draw a line in the sand and say, no more limits, no more doubts, no more permission slips. Because the life they said you couldn't build. That life starts now. I've heard it all. You're too small, too brown, too bold, too ambitious. And maybe you have too. Maybe they said you weren't smart enough, pretty enough, strong enough, or simply not enough. But here's what I know, every no, they gave you secretly an invitation, a hidden challenge asking, will you dare to become what we say you can't? And you must answer, watch me. Unstoppable isn't born. It's built in silence when nobody claps for you. It's built in darkness when you cry behind closed doors. It's built in rejection, in failure, in the voice that whispers, try again. When I started, they boxed me in. Told me there were rules, told me to dim my light to fit the mold, but I learned something powerful. The mold was never made for me, and if it wasn't made for you either, then break it, smash it, build your own. The world may try to define you by your setbacks, but you get to define yourself by your comeback. That's your power. You can rewrite the narrative. You can take every label they stuck on your back and turn it into fuel. Into fire, into focus. The journey won't be easy. Let's not pretend it will. You'll be underestimated, misunderstood. You'll be the underdog, the outsider. But guess what? Underdogs have the biggest bite. In outsiders, we see the world differently. We create what others never imagined. So today, I dare you. Dare to be loud in a world that says be quiet. Dare to dream big when they tell you to play it safe. Dare to show up, flawed and fierce, because perfection isn't power, authenticity is. Don't wait for the green light. Don't wait for applause. Build your empire, even if it starts with broken bricks. Build your confidence, even when your hands are shaking. Build your legacy, even if your voice quivers, because the truth is, no one else gets to decide your worth. Not a critic, not a parent, not a boss, not a stranger on the internet. You do. They said you couldn't do it. Good, that's your sign, that's your push, that's your moment. So get up, stand tall, and build the life they said you couldn't, because unstoppable starts today, and the world has no idea what's coming. When people say you can't do something, it stings. It plants seeds of doubt in your mind. But what if that doubt wasn't a stop sign, but a starting point? What if rejection wasn't the end, but the fuel to begin again, stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever? That's the power of turning negativity into motivation. When they say, you're not good enough, you don't have to believe them. You don't have to shrink. Instead, you rise, not to seek their approval, but to prove to yourself just how far you can go. Every no becomes a spark. Every door slammed shut becomes the reason you build your own. We live in a world where many people project their own fears onto others. When someone tells you that you're dreaming too big or reaching too far, it often reflects the limits of their own imagination, not yours. If you internalize their words, you start living their version of life, not your own. But when you use their doubt as energy, you begin to realize that their disbelief is just noise. You get to choose what you do with it. Some people let it define them, others let it drive them. The ones who rise are the ones who take every rejection and turn it into resolve. Think about all the stories of people who were laughed at, rejected, told they would never make it. What separates them from those who gave up wasn't talent alone, it was mindset. It was a decision to keep going, to fight back not with words, but with action. Every time someone doubts you, it's a hidden opportunity to sharpen your focus, to fuel your hunger, and to work even harder in silence. It's a test of how badly you want it. You have to believe that your journey is your own. You don't need everyone to see your vision. It's yours for a reason. Let their rejection echo in your memory, not to hurt you, but to remind you of what you're made of. Let their words echo in the gym, in your late nights, in your early mornings, whenever you feel like quitting. Remember, doubt is not your enemy. It's your challenge, your invitation to step into your power. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You owe yourself a chance to rise, a chance to build, a chance to become everything they said you couldn't. There comes a time when you realize the world has already written a script for you, one that tells you how to speak, what to wear, how far to go, and where to stop. From childhood, we're boxed in by expectations, labels, and invisible rules. But you don't have to live in a script someone else wrote. You don't have to follow a mold that was never meant for you. The truth is, if the mold doesn't fit, you're not broken. It is, you weren't born to blend in. You were born to break through, to shatter limitations, and to build your own path. For many people, fitting in feels safer, it's quieter, there's less conflict, less resistance, but playing small just to make others comfortable will never lead to fulfillment. The moment you stop seeking permission and start living boldly, that's when your life begins to transform. You may be criticized, you may be misunderstood, but growth doesn't happen inside the lines of comfort. It happens when you take risks, when you step out, when you stop trying to be who they expect and start becoming who you were born to be. Being different doesn't mean you're wrong. It means you're original. You bring something new to the table. Your story, your voice, your fire. People might not understand it at first, but that's okay. Visionaries are always ahead of their time. The world catches up later. Don't shrink to make others feel at ease. Don't dim your light because it's too bright for some. Shine anyway, speak up anyway, take up space anyway. Life rewards those who are bold enough to say, I'm not here to fit in, I'm here to stand out. And standing out doesn't require perfection. It just requires authenticity. Be who you are fully and unapologetically. Wear what you love. Chase the dream that excites you. Follow your own rhythm, even if it doesn't make sense to anyone else. The moment you do that, you reclaim your power. There will always be people who try to label you, limit you, and tell you what's possible. But their words don't define you. Your actions do. When you step into your truth and refuse to be boxed in, you inspire others to do the same. You show them what's possible when someone chooses courage over conformity. So break the mold, be the exception, and build the life that reflects who you really are, not the one they tried to assign you. The truth is, the most powerful moments of transformation rarely happen on a stage or in front of a crowd. They happen in silence when no one's watching, in the quiet hours of early mornings, in the solitude of long nights, in the moments when your doubt is loud and the world is silent. That's where unstoppable is built, not with applause but with consistency, not with praise but with perseverance. Success is never just the highlight reel people see, it's the behind, the scenes grind, the inner battles, and the decision to keep going even when you feel invisible. There will be seasons where you give everything and no one notices. You'll work harder than ever, and it won't look like progress to anyone else. You'll sacrifice comfort, sleep, and even relationships because you believe in something bigger than what's in front of you. And in those moments, it's tempting to quit. It's tempting to think you're not moving forward, but you are. Every step you take in silence is laying the foundation for something extraordinary. Just because they don't see it doesn't mean it isn't real. You don't need validation to be valuable. You don't need an audience to make your journey matter. What you're building matters because you believe in it. Your dreams don't require permission. They only require your commitment. It's easy to show up when people are clapping for you, but the real test is whether you'll show up when no one is watching, when no one is cheering, and when the results feel invisible. The truth is, every champion, every trailblazer, every groundbreaker had to go through a season of silence. They had to push through the doubt and the delay without losing heart. That's what makes them different. That's what makes them unstoppable. They didn't wait for praise to begin. They didn't wait for proof to believe. They just kept showing up. You have to build quietly and let your results make the noise. Let your actions speak louder than your insecurities. Let your discipline outlast your doubt. When you decide that your dream is worth the effort even without attention, you take full ownership of your journey. And that's where real power lies. Not in external approval, but in internal alignment. So keep going, even when no one notices. Keep building, even when no one claps. One day, the world will ask how you did it, and you'll smile because you know the truth. It all started in silence. Being the underdog may feel like a disadvantage, but it's actually one of the most powerful positions you can be in. When no one expects you to win, you're free. Free from the weight of others' expectations, free from the pressure to perform a certain way, and free to surprise the world on your own terms. Being the underdog sharpens your instincts and fuels your hunger. You learn to fight harder, train smarter, and work with a fire that those at the top often forget. There's a certain kind of strength that only grows in the shadows when you have to rely on your grit because the world has counted you out. People overlook you, and at first that can feel like rejection, but it's actually an opportunity. While they're busy underestimating you, you get the space to evolve without distraction. You get the chance to outwork, outthink, and outlast them without the noise. There's something beautiful about building quietly with no spotlight. Every step you take, every skill you develop becomes a secret weapon. By the time they notice you, it's already too late, because you've already become unstoppable. Underdogs have something to prove, not just to the world, but to themselves. That's what drives them forward with relentless focus. You dig deeper, you endure longer, you develop a mental toughness that can't be taught in comfort. The challenges you face don't weaken you, they sculpt you. Every setback becomes a lesson, every no becomes motivation. And because nothing is handed to you, you learn to create opportunities from scratch. You don't just wait for a door to open, you build one. You don't need a head start when you have heart. You don't need privilege when you've got purpose. The underdog isn't behind, they're just underestimated. And when the moment comes to rise, they do so with the kind of strength that shakes the room. The world loves to root for someone who rises from nothing, but few understand the price that journey demands. Still, the payoff is worth it. Not just in success, but in knowing you didn't wait to be chosen. You chose yourself. So if you're overlooked, ignored, or dismissed, don't let that discourage you. Let it light you up. Let it remind you that you have something they can't see yet. Let it make you fierce. Let it make you focused, because the most dangerous person in any room is the one who's been counted out and kept going anyway. In a world obsessed with image, polish, and perfection, there's a quiet kind of rebellion in choosing to be real. Everyone wants to look flawless, act unshaken, and speak with perfect composure. But the truth is, that version of perfection is an illusion. What people truly connect with isn't how perfect you seem, it's how human you are. Authenticity breaks through the noise. It speaks louder than filters, louder than performance. When you show up as you are, without the mask, you give others permission to do the same. You shift the atmosphere, you lead with truth, and that's what leaves a mark. There's so much pressure to fit into a mold, to walk, talk, dress, and dream like everyone else. But what makes you powerful isn't your ability to blend in. It's your willingness to stand out. Perfection demands that you hide your flaws, your past, your doubts. But authenticity invites you to bring all of it to the table and say, "This is me, and I'm still worthy." That's courage. That's strength. It takes real bravery to show your scars, to own your story, and to speak from a place that isn't polished, but honest. When you stop trying to be perfect, you actually become more magnetic. People feel the difference. They can sense when someone is being real versus rehearsed, and real always wins. You don't have to have it all figured out to make an impact. You just have to be willing to show up with heart. To speak even if your voice shakes, to try even if you fail, to live fully even if it means making mistakes along the way. Because it's not your perfection that will inspire others, it's your perseverance. It's your resilience. It's your willingness to keep showing up, mess and all. Authenticity doesn't mean oversharing or performing vulnerability. It simply means living in alignment with who you really are. Not who you think you're supposed to be, not who others want you to be, but who you are when no one's watching. That kind of alignment is where your power lives, and when you move from that place, you stop chasing validation and start attracting respect. You stop needing to prove and start focusing on purpose. Let go of the need to be perfect. Embrace the beauty of being real. The world doesn't need another flawless image, it needs truth. It needs heart. It needs you exactly as you are. Because when you're authentic, you're not just seen, you're remembered. There's a dangerous myth that says you have to wait. Wait until you're ready. Wait until you have more money, more confidence, more experience. Wait until someone gives you permission. But the truth is, no one is coming to hand you a green light. The life you dream of, the one they said you couldn't build, doesn't begin someday. It begins the moment you decide that now is enough. You don't need to be fully prepared to take the first step. You just need the courage to start where you are with what you have and who you are right now. Waiting is often disguised as planning, but deep down it's fear. It's fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. But fear never disappears by standing still. It only grows louder. The only way to silence it is by moving forward, even if your steps are shaky. Progress doesn't come from perfection. It comes from momentum. You don't become unstoppable overnight. You become unstoppable the day you stop hesitating and start acting. That day could be today if you choose it. Starting doesn't mean having it all figured out. It just means you've stopped making excuses. It means you value your dream enough to get uncomfortable, to be seen trying, to take risks even when the outcome is uncertain. Every great achievement began with a decision to start, without certainty, without applause, and often without support. You have to believe in the vision even before it makes sense to anyone else. You have to want it enough to move without being pushed. People will always have opinions. Some will question your choices. Some will doubt your timing, but they don't have to live with your regrets. You do. Don't let their hesitation become your reality. The longer you wait for the right time, the more you convince yourself it doesn't exist. And the more time you spend on the sidelines, the more life passes you by. Your dream is valid now. Your voice matters now. The life they said you couldn't build. It doesn't require anyone's permission but your own. So stop waiting for signs. You are the sign. Stop waiting for opportunities. You are capable of creating them. Start now. Speak now. Move now. Because the longer you wait, the quieter your dreams become. And the louder your regrets will be. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be present. The door isn't going to open for you. You have to build it, and the time to build it is today. Thank you.